What happens when a forgotten land is given back its dignity, not by outsiders, but by the hands of its own people? What if Africa's most powerful weapon isn't its gold or oil, but the rich black soil beneath our feet? In the heart of Burkina Faso, beneath the glowing heat of the Sahel sun, a silent revolution has begun. Not in a courtroom, not on a battlefield, but in the dirt. And not with weapons, but with water, seeds, and the will to feed a nation. On June 27, 2025, in the Kénédougou Province of the Haut-Bassin region, the government of Burkina Faso unveiled something extraordinary: 608 hectares of newly rehabilitated and expanded irrigated land in Banzon. But this wasn't just a technical project or a ceremonial ribbon cutting. This was a moment when a nation drew a line in the sand and said, "From this soil, we reclaim our future." Led by the Minister of State for Agriculture, Ismaël Sombié, the commissioning of this vast plain marked not only a physical transformation, but a shift in ideology. Banzon had long been a name associated with broken infrastructure and unmet promises. But that has changed. What once lay in silence and dust is now humming with the rhythm of pumps, tractors, and ambition. And above all, the spirit of a people who have decided they will no longer wait to be fed by the world. They will feed themselves. The minister stood before the local farmers, workers, and journalists with a clear message. If we keep spending all our time fixing old projects, when will we ever create something new? He asked, challenging the old system of endless maintenance and little progress. We must move forward. The old sites will be refinanced, yes, but now we are building, not just repairing. And build they have. Banzon now boasts an entire irrigation system rebuilt from scratch. From the dead-end canals to the primary artery that feeds the fields, every pipe and passageway has been renovated. The storage warehouses, the administrative offices, the protective dike, all of it designed not just for today, but for a new era. Even the road leading to the fields has been completely rebuilt and extended. But amidst all the technical marvels and the government coordination, one name kept surfacing: Captain Ibrahim Traoré. He didn't do this with words, he did it with willpower, the minister declared. You owe endless gratitude to Captain Traoré. That gratitude isn't political. It's deeply personal. For the people of Banzon, Traoré's commitment to the land, to the producers, and to Burkina Faso's sovereignty isn't theoretical. It's visible in every seed that will now grow under these new systems. This is what African leadership should look like: intentional, grounded, and rooted in the needs of the people. Not flying to global summits to beg for aid, but walking the cracked earth to build irrigation systems. Not shaking hands in luxury hotels, but standing ankle-deep in the mud, demanding change. And what of the farmers? Their lives are no longer limited to one uncertain season. With the new infrastructure, they now plant rice in June, harvest in November, plant again in February, and once more in June. That's 3 full campaigns, 3 chances to feed families, earn income, and build a future. The rhythm of agriculture has changed. The cycle is no longer once a year. It's continuous, determined, and powerful. The minister made it clear: there is no time to rest. We must exploit the full potential of this plain. This is not exploitation in the colonial sense. It is ownership. It is a farmer looking at his land and seeing power, not poverty. Seeing promise, not pain. And it doesn't stop at rice. In a bold move, the government has ordered the introduction of wheat farming into local production cycles. 2 rice seasons, 1 wheat season. That's the new norm. The goal is crystal clear: end the nation's dependency on imported wheat. Burkina Faso, like much of Africa, imports vast quantities of wheat, primarily from Europe and Asia. But each imported sack is a quiet admission that Africa still hasn't unlocked its full potential. That era is ending. Wheat must become a part of our agricultural habits, the minister said. Not because it's fashionable, but because it's strategic. Because food is power, and controlling what you eat is controlling your destiny. There is something deeply revolutionary about this kind of agricultural shift. It's not flashy. It won't make international headlines, but it is the kind of revolution that lasts, one that begins not in the parliament, but in the fields. What makes this transformation even more powerful is the way it's been managed. Accountability isn't just a word, it's a practice. When asked about the recent grain sales, the minister confirmed. The millers had already paid. Every transaction was tracked, every franc accounted for. Not a single franc will stay outside the system, he affirmed. The money has been paid. You will soon receive it in your accounts. In a region where too many projects have been stolen by corruption or lost in bureaucracy, this level of transparency is revolutionary. It proves that when leadership is honest and systems are enforced, progress isn't just possible, it's unstoppable. But we must speak also of the unsung heroes, the engineers, workers, and local enterprises who made this dream a reality. This was not a foreign-built project. It was built by Burkina Faso hands, and it wasn't easy. The minister openly admitted there were moments of tension. Deadlines were tight, pressure was high. At times, threats had to be made to ensure the work was completed. But they did it. They endured. And today, Banzon stands as proof that local businesses can deliver excellence when they are trusted, supported, and held accountable. When the entrepreneur goes home at night, the minister said, he must feel proud knowing he helped develop Burkina Faso. Yet success does not end at construction. The next great challenge is maintenance. The minister was blunt. We must maintain what we have built. If I return and find this place in ruins, I will hold you accountable. This was not a threat. It was a vow to protect the investment, the effort, and the hope that Banzon now carries. The responsibility lies with all of us, not just governments, but citizens, chiefs, and farmers. Modern buildings, tractors, and canals are only valuable if they are cherished, cleaned, and used with purpose. The plain now includes a processing unit, meaning rice and wheat will no longer be sent elsewhere for transformation. It will be done here, by the people, for the people. This is what sovereignty looks like, not flags and speeches, but self-sufficiency, the ability to produce, process, and profit from our own land. And now, a new chapter begins. Farmers are expected to step up. The government has provided the tools, the roads are built, the canals are flowing, the markets are coming, the nation is watching. Banzon must now become a model, not just for Burkina Faso, but for all of Africa. Because this story is not about one country. It's a mirror held up to the whole continent. Imagine if Mali, Niger, Chad, or the Central African Republic launched similar projects. Imagine if, instead of importing rice from China, Sahelian nations formed agricultural unions and fed one another. Imagine if Africa finally saw its soil not as a curse to be exploited, but as a crown to be worn. Banzon proves that we do not need miracles. We only need courage, coordination, and commitment. We don't need charity. We need tractors. We don't need handouts. We need irrigation. And above all, we need leaders like Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who don't just dream of sovereignty but plant it. His vision is simple but radical. Burkina Faso must feed itself. Africa must rely on itself. And dignity is not something you ask for. It's something you grow, row by row, season by season. To all our listeners, subscribers, and fellow Africans, this is your moment. If this story moves you, share it, speak it, support it. Because change does not come from Paris or Washington. It comes from Banzon, from the farms of Kénédougou, from the plains of Timbuktu, from the hands of our mothers who sow seeds so their children won't go hungry. Captain Traoré's legacy will not be measured in battles or borders. It will be measured in harvests, in the smell of fresh grain, in the sound of irrigation pumps turning on at dawn, in the silence of a child who goes to sleep with a full belly. Banzon is not the end. It is the first seed of a greater African harvest. Let us not sleep on it. Let us water it, work it, and carry it forward. Because Africa's future is not in the ground, it is growing from